little friend.
Hello.
Right? Do you remember Scarface?
Yes,
That's down in Miami,
yes,
right?
Yeah, down in Miami.
Cockroach.
And we have a Miami Herald article.
We got a Miami Herald. Miami's an interesting place. I
It's
personally,
like a different country. It should be like its own country.
yeah, I wasn't like really fond of it. I did like swimming around the water. It was warm, but it's
crazy.
It gets wild. It's a wild place.
Yeah, Joe Rogan was talking about doing comedy there. It was real funny. He goes, everywhere I go, there's not like a lot of disruptions and stuff like that. But he said literally in Miami, he's like, everybody's so coked out. They're like, I had to have people put their phones in a bag.
Yeah, no joke with the drugs.
And then he goes, here's what's happening. They
Yeah.
literally will sit for like 10 minutes, listen to me, and then get up, go get their phone out of their bag, go outside, and then come back. He's like, it was constantly just people getting up.
It's like weird, like
You can't control it.
it's like a weird, unnatural like momentum that's happening now, especially in the nightlife.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like bugs.
It's
everywhere, just like skittered,
like jacked up bugs.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it is a crazy place.
And for those people that are doing drugs and do get caught by the cops, and they get prosecuted.
Yes, and I love that. I listened to the title of this from Miami Herald. Great title. When Florida prosecutors rely on data, criminal justice can be more transparent and equitable.
Yeah, this is funny because in summation of the article, Florida's actually, when they look at the data, they're doing a half-decent job with not being biased.
Right.
Racially biased, whatever it might be, when it comes to prosecution. So that means issuing a judgment is typically fair regardless of the person's racial background, demographics, socioeconomic status. The judges seem to be non-biased, and then the jury is also doing a good job of giving a blended jury, so when they come back, they're like, oh, that instituted that's fair. But when you go back and they can use large data sets, right, data to come back and analyze whether or not they're looking at people and treating them as human beings,
Right.
they're like, Florida's like, we're surprised we're doing a good job. Which is actually, it was quite comical reading the article.
Right. Yeah, and they said, after all, this is a state where the death penalty holds strong.
Mm-hmm.
Stand your ground laws were born, and Florida man narratives provided limited fodder for nationwide amusement. Along those same lines, prosecutors in Florida have a reputation for being especially non-transparent, tough, and unjust.
And what you find is that they're actually being pretty just.
Yes, exactly. And they said this, prosecutors in Florida are paving the way for a more race-equitable, transparent, and data-driven criminal justice system.
Yeah, because they're releasing the data on their judgments, saying, okay, these are all the people, these are the backgrounds, blah, 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 blah. You don't have to give away the name.
Right.
But it's just showing in general, we've been actually quite even in delivering judgments for people that have committed the same crime. And there's been no disparity between how the way they look, essentially.
Yeah, and after simple percentages showed minimal difference among Black, Hispanic, and white defendants.
Yeah.
We considered the influence of mirror cases and defendant-specific characteristics on racial disparities.
Mm-hmm.
As it turns out, even for defendants with similar charges and prior records, for example, racial differences were nearly non-existent.
Yeah.
This was consistent across the two Florida jurisdictions, which were Jacksonville and Tampa.
Yeah, good for them.
Yes.
And that's cool because even though a person commits a crime, they're judged as human beings. They're not judged on, they're more judged internally on the moral and ethical choices they have made.
Right.
And breaking the law rather than how they look.
Mm.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes, exactly.
If someone comes in honestly like looking hard, tattoos all over the face, or they're coming in, white collar, buttoned up with the tie and everything, they're treated just like human beings, not on how they look on the outside.
Yes, exactly. And this is what I thought was funny. Similar
That's so cool.
Similar studies in other parts of the country have identified significant racial disparities in plea offers and sentencing, including in our own work in Chicago and New York City.
Yeah.
You would think that would be the least.
Isn't it funny? But that's what's so cool about data. We have this idea in our mind.
Right.
We have this weird false perspective of what
Right.
reality is, but data comes and slaps us across the face.
Yes.
And it's like, wake up, you morons.
Here's the real reality.
This is what's really going on.
And here's what data showed with that reality. Listen to this.
This is
In
funny.
contrast, while Florida justice is punitive, it appears to be equally punitive toward all racial and ethnic groups.
Isn't that amazing? Good for Florida.
Yeah, that's data.
Yeah, isn't data, that's so cool. And guess what? The data's not racist.
No.
It's just saying what's going on.
Yes,
and you're looking at it
exactly.
like, wow, we're actually doing a half good job at throwing people in jail.
Yeah, and they said the 2020 election has also created new opportunities for transparent and data-informed policy in Florida. 2 large prosecuting offices in Orlando and Fort Lauderdale will be led by reform-minded prosecutors. Both elected prosecutors have expressed interest in joining the data initiative. This is what they said, we are not so naive to think that the, I don't know how to say this word, prosecutorial field? Somebody's going to correct me on that.
Wait, hold on. Prosecutorial.
Prosecutorial, there we go. Woo, that's a big word. Is going to accept data and analytics with open arms. We have been doing this work long enough to know that we must manage expectations.
People need to be checked.
Yeah. And they said that we don't have data phobia.
No.
I love that word.
No, listen, they're open to it.
Right.
They're not data phobic, and they're willing to have enough. Listen, that's what law is. It's two parties and then a judge. So it's almost like data's coming in as the judge.
Right.
To say,
exactly.
You're not really doing the right thing here.
Yeah, and then they were talking about when we can roll this into the medical field. They say, for example, in the medical field, while to a doctor, every patient is unique, good doctors also observe trends and research to come up with individualized treatment plans.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's like, I think a great example of this is understanding data in different ethnic communities when it comes to COVID.
Yeah, no, that's precisely correct.
Yeah.
And again, with those treatment plans, we talked about this in another episode. I don't know why I'm sitting so weird. I can't find something comfortable with this damn chair here.
Well, you want to run.
Yeah, I want to run. It's that doctors are good at coming up with the treatment plans, but they're so bad at sharing that data with other doctors.
Yes, exactly, yep. Yeah, and we had a whole episode on that where we got into, especially with Microsoft Cloud, the healthcare system that they have coming on with that. But and they said they end the article this way: thankfully, promising signs are emerging that Florida has more to export than oranges and sunburns. Florida prosecutors are leading the effort to make criminal justice more transparent and data.
Did the Miami Herald say that?
Yeah.
So Groveland, Florida. Now I'm going to get into a little bit of truth. They screwed up there. I mean, if they're from Miami, they should know that they're not the biggest orange exporters in the world. So some time ago, when the earlier stages of the automobile were coming out, Florida was growing a lot of oranges. But then there was a massive frost that came in Groveland, Florida, which is the highest point in Florida. That's the highest elevation, it's like 800 feet or something like that. And the frost wiped out almost all of the orange crop. And after that, when the train system came in, they realized that we don't have to keep growing them here. We can do it in other areas. So Florida has never really been the major exporter of oranges.
But it's just kind of like, I mean, I come from there, so it's so funny how Floridians we say Florida.
Florida.
Yeah, Florida. So like I'm from there, I was born there. Spent 13 years there.
Florida.
Yeah, Florida. So that's how we say it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just on my part. My dad's from Georgia, my mom's from Jacksonville. One of the studies was done here.
That's interesting, yeah.
You know my grandfather, side note real quick, my grandfather was a postman in World War II on the ship that blew up and they all were in the water.
Which one?
Indianapolis. Is that the one that blew up and they were lost for 3 or 4 days in the water?
No way.
And sharks were eating them and stuff?
Really?
Yeah, so he was the postman for that. He survived, yeah, of course.
Cool.
So he gets out. This is perfect middle class World War II.
Yeah, I love a good
So he
story.
gets out and works for the post office. And he works at the same window for 53 years at the post office. And if you go to the Jacksonville post office when he worked at, because everybody knows him, because he wouldn't take any type, he just wanted to work the window, that was it. Yeah, his feet are worn in.
Where he would stand?
Yeah, on the
hard floor?
Yeah, on the hard floor.
Get out of here.
Yeah, where he would stand. It was like his shoe print.
Do you know what that reminds me of?
50-something years just selling stamps.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Talking about just sticking with it.
Yeah, exactly.
No pun intended, because you said stamp. You ever gone to the Louvre?
Yeah, a long time ago.
When you're walking up those initial marble steps inside the Louvre, they're warm from just humanity moving through there and stepping on those steps. Did Hitler? Yeah, Hitler made it into Paris.
Yeah.
He probably walked up those same steps too.
Yeah, probably did. Yeah.
You know.
I wonder if he took anything from there. Because I know there was that whole movie with the art guys that were like chasing art.
That's a great
stuff.
film. Yeah. That's a really good film.
Because Hitler was chasing art too, right? And he was grabbing artifacts.
It was culture for him.
Egyptian autographs.
He wanted to absorb culture.
Well, I think they were really heavily into the occult too.
Yeah, he was into some weird stuff.
Yeah, very weird stuff.
What was the name of that society he was a part of?
Yeah, there was like a lot of
very esoteric.
Yeah, all that stuff. Because he wanted the spear of destiny. Mm-hmm. That was one of the biggest things, and he openly talked about that. The one that pierced Jesus aside.
Yeah.
Because he figured
that Roman soldier had.
Yeah.
Yeah, everybody wants weird stuff.
It's crazy. But speaking of not being weird, use data. Let data show you.
Be racially fair.
Yes, exactly.
Don't be a Don't be a jerk in your decision making.
Yeah, exactly. How simple is that? And shout out to Florida.
Yeah, shout out to Florida, the Miami Herald. Thank you for putting out a cool article, and I'm glad that the prosecutors down there are willing to check themselves.
Yeah, and if you want to buy data or sell data, just go to tartle.co. That's tartle.co.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you.
Peace.